What if I told you embracing death is the key to experiencing life fully? One day, you and everyone you love will die. And beyond a small group of people for an extremely brief period of time, little of what you say or do will ever matter. Now, please don't close this video. It's about time we talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, today's rant is all about the Grim Reaper and how facing our mortality can lead us to peace, liberation, and crack one of the biggest mysteries in the 21st century: why Donald Trump likes throwing his name everywhere, from Trump Towers to Trump Steaks. Since the day we are born, life moves relentlessly towards death, like an unstoppable train racing towards a crushing end. It's easy to ask ourselves, in the face of inevitable death, what's the purpose of living and toiling? I mean, eat right, exercise, die anyway. But in the spirit of polarity, the flip side also applies. What is the point in not living? What is the point in giving in to one's fear, embarrassment, and shame? The reminder of the inevitability of death should allow us to pursue our dreams with less shame and inhibition. So next time we see our crush, it's time we remind ourselves of the inevitability of death and muster up all the courage to tell her how we feel. And when she rejects us, we can remind ourselves that this is all a bunch of nothing anyway, since we are all going to die. Win-win scenario. And this brings us to the paradox of the human condition. We find ourselves trapped between our physical self and conceptual self. In order to compensate for the fact that our physical self will cease to exist, we try to construct a conceptual self that will live forever. This is the reason Donald Trump likes plastering his name everywhere. Ernest Bucker refers to this as our immortality projects, and argues that all of human civilization is a result of immortality projects. All of us try to create or become a part of something that we believe will last forever, be it art, music, religion, YouTube channels, political movements, and so forth, as it gives our life meaning. But at the same time, this is also the cause of all the wars, bigotry, and racism in the world today, since immortality projects that contradict one another threaten our core beliefs and sense of security. And if there's one thing that all of us can agree on, it's how much we hate being told that our beliefs are crappy, stupid, and misguided. And let's face it, more often than not they are. But shh, let's not burst our bubble. And this brings us to the importance of embracing the inevitability of our death. Without acknowledging the ever-present gaze of death, the superficial will appear important, and the important will appear superficial. Death is the only thing we can know with any certainty, and it should be the compass by which we orient all of our values and decisions. Oh, and for those of us who want to be remembered after our death, all we need to do is leave a ton of debt behind. But let's not forget, we're living in the 21st century, the age where people die while taking selfies. For many scientists, death is not an inevitable destiny, but merely a technical problem. People die because of technical failures: a heart attack, cancer, infection, and of course, too many birthdays. Every technical problem has, you guessed it, a technical solution, from pacemakers to radiation to antibiotics. Nanotechnology experts are developing bionic immune systems composed of millions of nanorobots which would inhabit our bodies, fight viruses and bacteria, eliminate cancerous cells, and even reverse the aging process. But as awesome as all this technological progress sounds, death is still a necessary part of being human because it creates stakes in life. In order to value something, the potential to lose it has to be there. If we remove death from the equation, we remove any scarcity from life. And if we remove scarcity, we remove the ability to determine value. Oh, and let's say a scientist somehow discovers the secret to immortality. Guess what? It's going to take forever to test. But putting all this aside, ultimately, instead of trying to defeat the Grim Reaper, we should try and live a life such that when we are on our deathbed, we can look back and say, life was freaking spectacular. However, since most of us are a bunch of neurotic nutjobs, we will most likely have a number of regrets on our deathbed. Bronnie Ware, who is a palliative nurse, published a book on this subject, citing that the regrets ranged from wishing we had the courage to live a life that was true to ourselves and not based on the expectations of others, to wishing we hadn't worked so hard and let ourselves be happier, to wishing we had the courage to express our feelings and stayed in touch with our friends. Reminding ourselves on the inevitability of death can be a source of primary wisdom for all of us. It forces us to ask the question, how do we want to live each moment? Just how trivial are we willing to get? Yeah, let's throw a tantrum because Olivia read our message and didn't freaking respond to it. How dare she? Let's delete and block the crap out of her. Ugh! How long do we want to suffer over this thing that we know is not going to matter on our deathbed? Heck, it's not going to matter even 2 days from now, yet we're completely buried in it right now. Death is always present, and its transformational power is always accessible to us, as long as we are courageous enough to face it. Becoming aware of our own mortality can be a liberating and awakening experience, and can paradoxically encourage us to live authentically and fully for the first time. We're all going to die. All of us. What a circus. That alone should make us love each other, but it doesn't. We're terrorized and flattened by life's trivialities. We are eaten up by nothing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have you experienced the death of a loved one? How did you cope with it? Also, let's say you were offered the immortality pill. Would you take it? Personally, I don't even know what to do with my Saturday afternoon, so immortality goes out the window. Let us know in the comments below. And as always, smash the like button and subscribe so that you never miss out on the People's Rant.